I love how badass the Mandalorian is, and so I love to see him fight people. I love that he's using the Darksaber and like getting familiar with his people, I guess. I mean, I still have no idea. I don't really know like what his people do / did. I know that they're warriors. The weapons are their religion. As a person who grew up in conservative America, I understand that. But but you know, the episode is also just like half of it's just like exposition of like, why are we doing this?
Yep.
Like, what's happening? He gets a ship. Surprise, it's that yellow ship Anakin flew in episode 1. Remember episode 1? I'm sure you want to remember episode 1.
You can go watch it right now.
You can go watch it right now. I'm just like, some of this stuff is just so silly, but I do love the combat and his search for Grogu. Like, I really buy that relationship of like him missing this little weird baby who is now his son, but is older than him probably or whatever.
He's way old. He's like 5 years old.
So I love that central driving force of the show. I'm still not convinced this is a good episode of TV, but the fact that this is basically just another show inserted into a bad show is like an all-time like Disney move of just like, could we get some more of the thing people like in here?
Look, it's not a bad, like the Book of Boba Fett is not a bad show. It's just very boring. And like you were saying in the pre-pod production, we've come to a place, I'm going to steal your thought, we don't need Boba Fett anymore. The Mandalorian has absolutely destroyed it. So when you have an entire series dedicated to Boba Fett, all the fun, cool things that could have been done have been done already with the Mandalorian just wandering around doing westerns every episode. That's fucking great. He just goes around, does shit. People fuck with him. His fight scenes are always great because every time he fights, he looks like he's about to lose. And then he's like, nah, I can stab. He was in that fight in episode 5, losing. And then all of a sudden he's like, I got a small knife. I can't lose. Like, it was great.
Yeah, I was basically saying to you that like a lot of the mythology that's been given to the Mandalorian in a different universe where like the prequels don't necessarily exist to identify Boba Fett's origin, then the Mandalorian basically just can be Boba Fett. Like he escapes the Sarlacc pit, decides he meets up with Baby Yoda and decides to find some sort of redemption with his people and through this relationship, and it's still just Boba Fett. And if you didn't introduce him in the prequels, that person can still just be played by Pedro Pascal and his stunt double that's paid to walk around in that uniform all day.
Talk about
it. That's still like the same thing you can do. But since they decided to basically not do that from the beginning, and they decided to give the Fett characters more backstory than they really even need, you can't do it. But people still like the name, so you still make a show, but you don't really need the show.
Look, I've watched, at this point, what feels like I watched all of the Disney, Marvel, Star Wars shows that have recently been produced. Proud of you. And I'm telling you, I am fucking burnt out. I know you were already burnt out just off the concept of like big corporation abusing my interests. I'm here to tell you, I don't think any of these shows are gonna matter, dude. I don't think anything matters. Like this, just the moment in the trailer for Multiverse of Madness when Doctor Strange comes up to Wanda and she's like, "Is this about what I did in Westview?" And he's like, "No, I don't give a fuck what you did there. I don't give." I
get that same vibe from this because it's just like I literally turned this on and you know how it's like on previously on Book of Boba Fett and it played a bunch of scenes and I was like, "Oh, I get it," and then none of those scenes were important either. None. So like it's literally just like absolutely meaningless. It's literally just an episode to find out how Mando ends up in the employment of Boba Fett or something when you could have just done that in season 3 of The Mandalorian.
And they probably will because
they
probably will.
Definitely will.
They will because that's just what it is. It's at this point it just feels like it doesn't matter unless you absolutely are interested in these characters. You don't need to watch these things. Like the concept that we're going to have a Captain America 4 movie that's going to do the same thing we did when we watched the show.
I'm still so mad about that.
Unpacking racism when I'm like, that was the point of the show. So we're going to do it again because he has to earn it on screen and give us $1 billion.